Hello and welcome to episode 126 of Show and Tell with Tunes, and another band retrospective show with a super awesome special guest. So the band in question is the mighty Anthrax. And if I'm having an Anthrax special, I pretty much need a massive Anthrax fan to be on here with me. So as such, I went through my Rolodex of fans that I know of Anthrax, and I thought, fuck it, let's get the kid dog on. So Neil, how the fucking hell are we?
I've been better, but I'm not complaining. I'm not too bad. I am the weirdest Anthrax fan as well because I came to them incredibly late, as in like about 5 years ago, maybe. I properly got into them full time, big time. Before that, it was always Metallica and Death, but now more Anthrax.
Well, less said about Mega Dave, the better.
I love bringing up Megadeth here because it pisses you off so much. Oh no, don't get me wrong. I know he's a complete and utter twat. Don't get me wrong.
So we have opened up today with the first song on the first album, Death Rider, which is just a fucking rager of a song. And surprisingly, in all the times I've seen Anthrax, I've only ever seen them play it once live.
Really?
Yeah, and randomly, it was on the last tour when I saw them play Norwich. They opened the second set with that and then went into All Among the Living. So yeah, only ever seen it once in the 15 odd times that I've seen them. But it is a rager, and it's a perfect way to start the show with the very first Anthrax song. We're then going for one of the big guns, Madhouse. So this was, for me, one of the first Anthrax songs I heard of early Anthrax once I'd got into them, because it always used to be on Headbangers Ball and on MTV2 at silly o'clock at night, and just the video of them in the psych ward. Is this pretty much quintessential old original Anthrax?
To a T. This is old school Anthrax. This is so old school Anthrax. There's a reason it's on V-Rock on Vice City.
And it works.
Oh, it works. You know what? I think V-Rock from Vice City is the best of all the V-Rocks that they ever did, because that had some, it had proper powerhouse songs at that time. So, but yeah, when you get that intro that kicks in and the laughter that just bursts out, you just hear that slide in and it's like, oh yeah, we're in for a good time.
And the thing is, it has the I don't mean to say standard, because it's not really standard as such, but the quintessential sound of the Anthrax guitar.
Yes.
It's that Scottian guitar riff through that amp setup that he has. No one else has that same guitar sound and tone.
No, and there's a reason why you can count these guys in the big 4 or 5, however you want to phrase it. But you look at those bands and each one has their own sound. Slayer, Metallica, Megadeth, Pantera, and Anthrax, and that's what I like about them. They all sound different. They all might play particular, they might play thrash, well, some of them do, depending on what mood they're in at that particular point in time. Fuck you, Lars Ulrich. But I mean, you know when that sound comes in, that Scottian riff, and Madhouse never fails to put a smile on your face.
Exactly. And then we're keeping the pace up with Gung Ho, which is one of those of always good live. I've seen both John Bush do this and Joey, and it's the right type of song for the live environment, because it gets good pits going.
Yeah, there is. It's weird. They're like Maiden. There's certain songs by Maiden that sound, I don't want to say shit studio, but you wouldn't think they're anything special. Fear of the Dark. And then you hear that fucker live and you're like, holy shit, it just ascends, doesn't it? It's one of those songs that just ascends to a whole other fucking level.
So, you've just had that to start with, and we are going basically to 101 greatest hits of Anthrax. Most of these all come from Among the Living, and then the other two are two of the biggest live songs ever. So we're starting with probably my favorite live Anthrax song, Well, no, actually, no, because my favourite's a bit later, but one of my favourite Anthrax songs live, Caught in a Mosh. If you don't get into a mosh pit, run around and have fun to this song, you're dead inside.
Also, if you're in the wrong place, if they're playing this song and a mosh pit does not happen. I have been to Rock City so many times, and this song has never failed once to get a pit going. It is the official pit opener song.
It is one of those that's just so quintessential. You know, you can have a rock night anywhere, and you chuck this on, it's going to get people moving. And seeing the fact most of the times I've seen Anthrax, it's been at festivals. You chuck this on, no matter at what point they're playing, whether they're mid afternoon on the Sunday, in the tent late on, or early on a Saturday. Caught in a mosh starts, there will be circle pits.
Usually they get bigger and bigger and bigger until there's one massive one.
And then normally, as the Anthrax live set normally goes, is they follow it up with more circle pits and war dancing with Indians.
Oh, I love this one. Love this one so much.
Because, yeah, it is, again, it's everything Anthrax do well in a song.
Oh, yes.
Just say there's just something about the Anthrax sound that is just like it's a party. It's an aggressive party, but it's a party.
It's a party with beer.
Yeah, it's always great to do and always fun. I've then gone with something that's one of the weird and wonderful B-sides and album tracks that doesn't come out very often in a live set, but I have seen it. And when it did, it got an amazing reaction. Skeleton in the Closet.
I am surprised this does not get played more. This is a fucking fantastic song.
I think because a lot of the time when Anthrax play, they do play an hour set because they are either main support or on a festival show. They pretty much play a standard set of the big hits. You'll get Antisocial, Got the Time, Caught in a Mosh, Indians, Madhouse, something off the new album, Fight Until You Can't Fight Anymore now, obviously since that's come out. And that's your sort of 7, 8 songs that you get for their hour set. So, it would be nice for them to chuck this in more often. But because they do quite limited set times most of the time, they don't have the time to play it all. But when I have seen them do it, it is fucking fun. So, talking of standard live songs, magnificent, wonderful bass lines, and another song that if it doesn't make you move, you are dead inside. Got the Time.
Oh, I love this so much. This is my second favorite song to play. Being a bassist, you can imagine why.
Yes. This song is very much the bassist's choice.
Oh, yes. And it's just fucking fun to play, to pound, especially because you play this with a plec, and just to pound it at that speed is just fucking fun. It's not a technical nightmare like Anesthesia is, which I love to play as well, but just pure out fun. This is it. And just those bass bars kicking in, and you're about to have a good time.
The fact of this as well, though, it's just those fucking open riffs in there as well.
Yeah.
I was going to say save it till when we came back after the songs, but it's one of the things with the big four. You've got Mega Dave and his showy off stuff. You've got Slayer, We're Evil, which then spawned all the grindcore and deathcore and heavier, harder, faster, more satanic. Metallica, unfortunately,
Salautica.
Black Album happened, they became Stadium Rock, and that's where Disturbed and bands like that now live, is because of Metallica. Anthrax are the most thrash band that still keep going and influencing thrash bands, especially the party thrash stuff, like Municipal Waste, like Havoc, all those Gamma Bomb, all awesome, fun thrash bands that don't take it too seriously. And it's because songs like this, like Got the Time, like Antisocial, which we're playing next, all of those just it's fun. It's fun. It's fucking about, but it's still fast as fuck. It's still about drinking beer, and if you don't run around to it, you are dead inside.
Yeah, the whole lot with them is they've taken the AC/DC approach. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know, their music is just that kind of style. But it's not like it doesn't never ages badly at all. You know, the older stuff still sounds just as great as the newer stuff.
And as we said, we're going with probably their most famous cover, which I'm not putting in the cover section at the end because I see this more as an Anthrax song than I do a Trust song. Most people probably don't know that it was originally written by a French metal band called Trust.
Not many people know there's French metal bands. That's not a sentence you hear often.
Well, there's Gojira, that's about it. So yes, Antisocial, which is the one song when they played Norwich did break my rule of no crowd surfing. I did crowd surf after my history of crowd surfing and breaking myself. I did break the rule to crowd surf to Antisocial.
Did he sing in French or English?
It does it in English. I have seen them do it in French once. Again, at a festival, it was at Sonosphere. They did 2 sets in the same weekend, and one set they did all of Among the Living live in the tent, and then they came on and did Antisocial in French as the encore, and then the next day on the main stage they played a normal set and they played Antisocial in English.
Because I think Anthology has it in French, and just to hear him do it at that speed in French is like, that's fucking impressive.
Yeah. When I saw him do it at Sonosphere, he was missing a bit of it. I will say that it wasn't, perfect in French because he probably hasn't done it in many, many years. But yeah, he gave it a good go. But
more than we could do.
Yeah, but it's a staple of them live, and again, one of my favorite songs. So we are having Caught in a Mosh, Indians, A Skeleton in the Closet, Got the Time, and Antisocial. And we'll be back very soon with some more chit-chatting. So we have just had some classic thrash bangers. We are now going a little bit to the weird side of Anthrax, the Belladonna.
You said that like it's a bad thing.
I'm not saying it's like a bad thing. I'm just saying it is as it is. And also one of the songs for Belladonna coming back. So before we go into what we're going to be playing and a bit more of it, the Belladonna argument. Because we know where I stand on this, and I will preach my side when we get to the fact of John Bush in a little while. I've never asked you, but you've never said either way. Belladonna or Bush?
I'm one of those awkward buggers that likes both. I think the songwriting was better under Bush because they did Safe Home, which is honestly one of my favorite Anthrax songs.
See, I see it the other way. The classic songs are the Belladonna era, but Bush made them better.
Yes.
I will always say, if someone's getting into Anthrax, the album that I will always say go get is you get Among the Living, you get We've Come For You All, and you get Greater of Two Evils.
Yeah.
Because it's all the classic songs, but made better because, Belladonna's not great.
No.
But yeah, I always very much go with, I prefer Bush as the front man and as the singer, but I'm in the minority on that. I feel most of the time, because a lot of the people that I know that like Anthrax all really love Belladonna and think he's the best.
Again, I like them both, but they're both different singers. I think the last couple of times I've seen live stuff of Anthrax, having not seen them live, I think Belladonna's age is showing, because I don't think he's quite got the range that he used to. And sometimes he struggles. Or maybe that's just, it's a bad night, not you can't be 100% all the time.
I was going to say, when I'm in the crowd, I don't notice it as much as, it's not amazing. But then it's because the songs are that good.
Yeah.
Whereas I've seen Armored Saint a few times, which is Bush's original band and the band that he went back to after leaving Anthrax. And he is pitch perfect, amazing singer still. I've seen him on open stages at festivals. I've seen him indoor arenas in a club, in arena shows, and on a club show. And whatever stage he's on, he is always sort of perfect as a singer. And I'm like, if only he was still with Anthrax, you just know that every show would be amazing still. But that's my own personal bias.
Other opinions may vary.
Yeah,
I always love the singers ones. It's not the weirdest one I've heard. The weirdest one is Maiden fans who think Paul Di'Anno should still be singing. It's like, the fuck?
Well, there was those two first albums that weren't good.
Yeah,
I'd have more of an argument of Blaze Bayley over Di'Anno, but
I would, because
either way, you don't want either of them.
Yeah, it's weird because hearing one of them had Futureal and it was sung by Bruce, and it's like, no, this is wrong. No, if it's not Blaze, this is wrong.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
So we are having some more Anthrax, and we are starting this next run with the wonderful story of Judge Dredd. I am the law.
Law.
See, this is one of the ones that you were insistent that I had to put in.
Yep.
So as such, why was it that the masses needed to hear this?
One, because I fucking love Anthrax, and two, I fucking love Judge Dredd. Also, it's also one of the most iconic T-shirts as well.
Yeah, it is sort of one of their standard Anthrax T-shirts that pretty much everyone's seen, the Judge Dredd one.
And to be honest, I mean, there's not too many. You're probably going to point out like loads now, but to my mind, there's not many songs that spring up about superheroes or comic book characters in general.
There's a few more now than what they used to be, but at the time,
yeah,
you've got to remember this is late 80s, early 90s. They weren't, no one was sort of into the Marvel universe like it is now. There wasn't a massive multi-billion-pound franchise of films. Batman was the only real big superhero film that was still doing the rounds, the Tim Burton one, and that was soundtracked by Prince.
Yes, Bat Dance, anybody?
But yeah, no one was doing it. Obviously, you had Iron Man, Sabbath back in the 70s, but again, that was about it.
And that's not even about Iron Man. That is literally the Iron Giant.
Yeah, which was then sort of turned into Iron Man because of obviously,
Oh yeah. But I mean, also you have to bear in mind this is Anthrax. This is an American band singing a song in praise of Judge Dredd, who is an English comic book creation.
Yeah. And doing it really well as well. There's clearly
they know
a love of the book because not just you hear songs like superhero. There's a couple of songs superhero or Superman that's a skateboard song which they use Superman and fly like Superman, but it's got nothing to actually do with the comic book character or any reference to it. They've just used the name. Whereas this, it is the story of the first few graphic novels.
Yeah.
It's about, how he's going through the academy and all that side of it. It's like, yes, you have read this, you know about this, and you're showing it the love it deserves in wonderful musical form.
Yes.
Next up is another one of which you're choosing that you wanted to make sure was in there. One that I had never actually heard until you sent it over and I listened to it. It's because it's on a soundtrack, and it's not a soundtrack that I had or have ever listened to, so I hadn't ever heard of it.
Shame on you if it's the one I think it is.
Poison My Eyes.
Poison my eyes, many men have tried to take me. Yeah, it's on the Last Action Hero soundtrack, and I fucking love this song. Absolutely. Before I was majorly into Anthrax, this was like one of the first songs I actually heard by them. And it's a long fucker as well for Anthrax, who normally do short songs.
Yeah. It's one of those of... It sort of clocks in at just under 7 minutes, and I was like, that doesn't seem normal for them. tonally it's quite different. Yeah, it doesn't have as much of the customary standard guitar tone and stuff on there, and I can see why it didn't get put on one of the albums, because it wouldn't fit in anything they were doing at the time. But it works as a song, and I do enjoy it, and I'm definitely going to be listening to it again and a bit more.
Yeah, I mean, the trouble is with Last Action Hero, I think if people think of the soundtrack, there's only one song that people are going to think of, and that's Big Guns by AC/DC.
Mm.
But there's Megadave's on there because Angry Again crops up in that. Last Action Hero's on there. I think that's Telstar.
Yeah.
I can't remember off the top of my head. But the actual soundtrack's pretty good. And I always ended up, when I had it on CD, I always ended up diving to the Anthrax song more than the AC. I bought it for the AC/DC track and ended up going to the Anthrax song more often. That one went on repeat. I just really do like that because it is very different from, especially the stuff they were doing at the time. I really love the sound that song has.
It says it is a fun one. As I said, first time I listened to it was when you sent it over and went, "Oh, I want this one." I was like, "I don't know this one," and I was like, "I like it." And yeah, as I said, it's definitely one that I will start listening to a bit more. Next, we have the one thing that Anthrax do that none of the rest of the big four ever would, ever will, or I don't think could, is have a sense of humor about themselves and show their roots as being the only one of the big four from the East Coast, being New York boys, having, the Beastie Boys, Run DMC, and all the other sort of Brooklyn and Bronx hip hop that was going on. They did their own.
Yep.
So we have, I'll put them together because, they sort of pretty much will go together in that same conversation. Starting Up a Posse and I Am the Man. Which, yes, it's Scott Ian who does this, and you can tell it's very much because this is what Scott Ian wants to do. But it is so much fun. You're not going to see Kerry King doing this. You're not going to see Megadave doing it. Kirk would probably like to, but Lars is not going to stand for that.
Yeah, it is a thing, isn't it? Megadave definitely no sense of humor that we've been able to find, and Lars had it surgically removed, and I think.
And it's not satanic enough for Kerry.
Or involves pies.
But yeah, this is that sort of amazingness that, as I said, this is where Municipal Waste and Gamma Bomb and all that have gone, do you know what? Fuck it, we can do what we like and have a laugh because the Anthrax did it. And they haven't done it since I've ever seen them live, but I have seen video of Scott Ian breaking into I Am the Man live on stage, just sort of getting to an end of a song and just starting it with him and Charlie. So they clearly do really still enjoy doing this because, as I said, they do it occasionally. And yeah, they, we'll play one of the songs at the end, which is the last song, which is quintessentially more than Aerosmith and Run DMC, the metal and hip hop cross song, which did start new metal, but
we can't argue against them.
But the seeds were born here with these two, and I fucking like it. I don't care if anyone thinks it's silly. It's fun.
You can't be an Anthrax fan and not like I'm the Man.
And last in this run is the one of the few songs that I like on the Belladonna's Back and they're making new albums side. I can never remember what that album's called. Let me just find it on the old iPod.
No,
so Worship Music.
Yeah, it's the one that comes after We've Come For You All.
I like half of it. Half of it is really good. It's not put. Belladonna sings in his range. There's what we're playing is the Giant, which is really cool. You've got I'm Alive, In the End, Fight Till I Can't Fight Anymore, Judas Priest, all really good and stay in where he should be. It's ruined when they decide to try and do Revolutionary Screams and the song by Refused.
Mm.
That's where they went wrong, but you know, I can give worship music and I like it. I still put that on. The last album, For All the Kings, there is nothing on that I like. Um, I've tried, but I I can't do it. I can't do that album. Um, it's telling that when I've seen them live since All the Kings come out, at the most they play one song off it, but they still play a few songs off worship music.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's one of those of worship music. The last thing, good. They did the cover album afterwards, again, which is fun as a little sort of side jaunt. Which you've played a few songs on when you've been on for the cover version shows and things like that. But yeah, this was the last good Anthrax album, and it is the first one back with Belladonna. These songs were writ at the same point when Bush was going to be in the band, and for that very short period when that Dan Welling was going to be the singer, but he dropped off into the sort of off the radar very quickly when he did one show I think over here, and then that was it with them.
Was it that bad?
Well, he did the Metal Hammer Awards show on the boat. They did that, and then they got announced to do Sonosphere that year, and then he left, and that's how we got John Bush back, and how I got to see Anthrax with John Bush was because the other guy left, and he decided Bush said he'd come back and do the one show only, which I had to make sure I was at. So obviously, what do you think of the newer stuff? See now that
I'm
Belladonna's
with
back.
you. I don't like for all Kings, and I like you. I also like half of worship music as well. So I think we're pretty much on the same wavelength on those. It's like you. It just seems to drop when he's doing in his range. It's fine, but you can tell. I think you can still tell that some of those songs were written for Bush.
Yeah. So that is I Am the Law, Poison My Eyes, Starting Up a Posse, I Am the Man, and The Giant. And we will be back shortly with the Bush era. And we are back, and it is time for me to go into why I think John Bush is the best Anthrax singer and on why his period is massively underrated. So, first things first, we're proving this with the first song that we're playing, which is Only, which for the time, because this came out 93. So Belladonna's only just left the band. Obviously, we all know what they had. Grunge is a massive thing. Metallica have just released Black Album and gone stadium rock. Slayer have done Undisputed Attitude and no idea what they're trying to do. They've sort of lost pace a bit post Seasons in the Abyss. Mega Dave, I don't know what he's doing in 92, 93. I think it was Sympathy for Destruction, I think, around then. Or Rust in Peace, one of those two. Anthrax get a new singer, and in a way, went new metal before new metal in sort of playing a slighter drop T with the same sound that they already had. So Scott Ian's sound's still the same, but the rest of the band seem to drop tune a little bit. And John Bush brings his amazing vocals to well-written, bigger songs that aren't just big hooks and big guitar riffs. And it pleases me greatly. Where are you on this sort of first start of John Bush in Anthrax.
I suppose I'm a bit because, like I said, they're coming to Anthrax later on. It was he was already there and established, so it's so. I think it's not one that I'd choose to go back to over and over again. That's for sure.
See, I love White Noise and Stomp 442. They are those sort of their time. They are some of the better. I use the word loosely, nostalgia bands 90s output, because a lot of the bands from the 80s got to the 90s and either tried to be new metal and failed miserably, went slower and did what Motley Crue did, which was just awful.
Isn't that Motley Crue in general?
Yeah, or just completely went away. Anthrax at least sort of kept trying. They tried to keep up with times with the sound, but didn't go new metal, and it sort of worked really well. We're following up with Riding Shotgun, which is from Stomp 442. Again, one of my favourite songs on that album, and another really, really underrated album that's always worth a listen. And then we are going to my favourite Anthrax album, We've Come For You All. And we are playing Safe Home, which, as you've already mentioned, is an absolute fucking banger. And following up with Superhero, again, another fucking banger. So, here is the debate. We've Come For You All, Among the Living.
Oh, you bastard.
I will go We've Come For You All as the better album. Among the Living does have Stone Cold classic songs on, but We've Come For You All is my Anthrax album of choice.
Yeah, actually, no, I'll go with you. I think I'm on that one. I think I have listened to We've Come For You All. I think there's more I like on We've Come For You All than there's on Among the Living, because I tend to hit up the same few songs and skip some of the others, whereas We've Come For You All tends to go in and stay in and start to finish.
And it again, just these two songs. We're going to have some more from We've Come For You All in a bit, but these two songs, Safe Home and Superhero, showing both sides of the same coin in one album. You've got the slow ballady type, if you want to put it that way, with Safe Home, which is just fucking amazing, and had Keanu Reeves in the video for.
And also has the excellent acoustic cover.
Yep, which
well,
that's
not an acoustic. It's not a cover, sorry, but the acoustic version.
That's the bonus track, which again, fucking works amazingly well. And then you've got Superhero, which has classic 80s Anthrax stomp, banging riff, and it's just like, yes, perfect party starting song. So that is only Riding Shotgun, Safe Home, and Superhero. And we'll be back in a little while with some more wonderfulness. And we are back. So we're having some more of the wonderful John Bush era. We have from We've Come For You All, again, taking the music back, which most people probably don't know, has Dimebag doing one of the guitar riffs in it and part of one of the solos, because Dimebag fucking loves Anthrax and Scott Ian and is an absolute boy. This song, again, is another one of those, if it doesn't make you want to bounce around, I think you may be dead inside.
So if you don't bounce along, basically, if you don't bounce along to Anthrax, you may be a zombie.
Pretty much, yes.
And they have a song for that too.
That is true. Then next, I am breaking the rule with playing some stuff from Greater Two Evils, just to prove that, the original songs were made better by John Bush, with Keep It in the Family. This was a Belladonna era song, but with, as I said, with the album Greater of Two Evils, they basically picked the staple classics: Indians, Caught in a Mosh, Gung Ho, all the big hits, and went, let's re-record them because we play them live, and yeah, they all just sound so much better. No bias at all there.
No, none whatsoever.
We then have, after that, another great song from We've Come For You All, Cadillac Rockbox.
Oh, yes.
Which is another one with just... It's got a dirty blues riff.
It has a groove that I love.
But because it's played through Anthrax's guitar tone, it's just got a gruffness and an edge to it that works just so well. And yeah, it's another really, really fun song. And then to end off this run, another original Belladonna song done by Bush, Be All and End All, which still sort of gets played now and again now live. Another one of those that's always fun live. Again, I just really, really like it. And again, Belladonna's version.
No bias whatsoever.
So, but sort of, I think part of my bias comes from I've only seen them with Belladonna once, and they played the perfect set list because they played a lot of stuff from We've Come For You All, which Belladonna doesn't play. They did the acoustic version of Safe Home, and it was, and of the old Anthrax songs, they played all the ones I wanted to hear. They played Got the Time, they played Antisocial, they played Caught in a Mosh, they played Indians, and I was just like, this is an hour of just everything I want to hear from Anthrax and the John Bush songs that we never hear live. So yeah, there is definite bias. I think because of the fact I only got to see it once, that's my abiding memory of my favorite time of seeing them.
Makes sense.
But as I said, I've never had a bad Anthrax show though. As I said, most of the time I see them, it has been at festivals, or them supporting Slayer, which is always one of those weird ones of the party band and the evil band, but they go so well together as a live pairing. Remember, I think one of the biggest ones though for seeing them was I did see them on the Big Four tour.
Yeah,
when they did Sonosphere with Metallica, Slayer, Megadeth, and again that night, Anthrax were the best of all of them.
Yeah,
which obviously is massive going when you've got Slayer that can play an hour of fucking bangers straight out and not break a sweat. Metallica,
who've got old and tend to drop solos and certain bits of songs.
This was still before they'd really sort of dropped the ball massively, and they played Dyer's Eve that night.
Bloody hell.
And it's the only time I've ever seen them do it. So, they dropped Black End and Whiplash, but they played Dyer's Eve. So, take out two fast songs, put one in that's faster and harder than everyone else. But yeah, no, it's one of those of, obviously I know you don't go to as many gigs now as you like, and obviously get to see them live, but I would always recommend whenever they play anywhere near you, just go and see them, because if you like metal, you'll have a fun time. I saw them at the beginning of this month because they were on the same bill with Slayer for Slayer's Lost, UK tour. So it was Anthrax into Lamb of God into Slayer, and can't think of a better use for a Saturday night in Wembley.
No. There's something. Look, one of these bands is not quite like the other there.
Fun, evil, Satan.
Yeah, and I like Lamb of God too, but that just seems so weird. Warm you up, cook you, kill you. There you go.
Exactly, and that's how we like it. So that is Taking the Music Back, Keep It in the Family, Cadillac Rockbox, and Be All and End All. And we'll be back for the close in a few. And we are back, and it is that time of the day. Kid Dog, pimp thyself and share your wares.
You can find me over at Gameburst, at the Gameburst Pod, and we bring you 30 minutes of gaming news every Sunday, along with a roundtable discussion. And apparently this year we will be having our Christmas quiz, although I would like to point out the fellow members of the Gameburst crew were cowards and ran away from me and to some other bloke who hosts some sort of music show that I've never heard of. So
No, but I hear there's going to be a very good music round.
I think I'm in trouble because I always suck at the music round, so I'm in trouble.
Well, if you suck at this one, I'm coming for you. Because, I'll tell you off air, but you should do this one. If not, I may have to disown you.
You and most people.
And obviously, other than your muses on Gameburst, I know it's been sort of put on the back burner due to life sucking and taking time out, because us people that do shit on the internet, we're real and have real lives and real problems and real things that take up our time, so we can't just end up with loads and loads of content for you all to enjoy
as much as we'd like to.
I know, because I'm still waiting for you to finish this fucking wrestling retrospective, because that's my shit.
I know I haven't. I trust me, and I'm just doing the licensed fucking games, and trust me, the list is unbelievably huge.
Because I want to get to a point if there's any that I haven't played.
I keep finding some, but they're like little obscure ones that crop up on like the Engage has got one and stuff like that.
Oh shit! Yeah, well, I wouldn't have ever played that, but I mean, main console ones I would have played.
Or you run into like the weird ones, and it's one I love because at the time it was graphically great, which is Royal Rumble on the Dreamcast.
Yeah, that. Other than the fact it had fuck all modes.
Yep, and
it was a fun game.
And its main mode was Royal Rumble, and it only had 12 characters.
Yeah,
or less.
Doesn't make sense. Though I do have to ask the question: when you get to the PlayStation 2 era, are you doing Crush Hour?
Yes.
Wonderful.
Crush Hour. It'll be the GameCube version because that's the one I've got, so long as the disc still works. But yes, I have to talk about Crush Hour because I just have to sit there and go, "What the fuck?"
Well, it was that period when wrestling was so hot, you just put Stone Cold on something and it sold.
True. Although it doesn't leave me scratching my head. It's like, I mean, when you're doing these retrospectives, you can talk about your out of the way ones like the Amiga stuff and that you may never have played. But then you get to the NES stuff and you remembered, oh, fuck, it's LGN. It might have been rare, but it's LGN. And it's like, oh, this is painful.
So I remember having the Commodore wrestling one, which was a Commodore version of the Amiga game, which was less colors and one button to try and do everything, and was hard as balls. And the tape would constantly, get to the point where it'd finish reading and then have a tape error. Remember those days, kids?
Now, if you want balls to the wall hard, WrestleFest. Fuck me.
I fucking love WrestleFest.
Oh, I love it, don't get me wrong, but you can tell it's an arcade game because once you've won those tag team titles, that difficulty spike just goes through the roof.
Yeah, as I say, thankfully I have finished it, but that's on these modern day sort of emulatory type things where you just spam on I will have unlimited credits and just keep going to win it.
Yes, because you need it. It gets stupidly hard.
Because I ain't putting 10p's in anymore.
And I still think it's in fact, I will go on record. WrestleFest is the best looking wrestling game ever made.
Yeah, it still holds up to this day because of the animation style of those sprites. Just it fit the era of over the top 80s wrestling so well,
It's
and
perfectly distilled, yes.
yet it hasn't sort of aged at all because of how good it was done. It's a timeless thing. It's the one thing I've noticed because we got Little on a Switch for Christmas, and going back and playing a lot of the NES stuff. The NES stuff hasn't aged that badly. But then I was looking at the new PlayStation that's coming out, the mini or whatever they called it, and so much of that looks fucking hideous. And
that's why my soft spot on the YouTube the Kid Dog, I like doing the early PlayStation stuff, because that is an era that's not fondly remembered but massively important, because that is your shift away from your NES, SNES, Mega Drive, where it was the 2D pixel art, which is gorgeous, to the first use of the 3D polygons. And there's some stinkers in there, but you can see the building blocks of what's to come.
so at the time, playing Attitude, I thought that was the fucking greatest thing ever, and everyone looked massively realistic, and it was great. Same with the ECW one that was on the same Acclaim engine, especially when you got to the barbed wire matches and you start seeing the blood and all that, and it was like, oh, this is amazing. But you look at it now, 20 years on, it hasn't held up.
Oh no, I can tell you that, especially the control scheme, which plays the wrestling game more like a fighting game, and in 3D, that never worked well. There's a reason Street Fighter and everybody went back to 2D.
Yeah. So your video can be found on the YouTube. It's just at the Kid Dog, isn't it, I believe?
Yes, the Kid Dog. Yeah, you will find that. Just look for the short history of series or retrospectives. Yeah, that's going so well. My white whale has continued to be the white fucking whale. For those of you who don't know, that's Resident Evil Code Veronica. Fuck that game. Fuck that game with a rusty pole.
Though, what you need to do is just ignore Resi and, just continue doing the wrestling ones.
Hint, hint, somebody wants me to carry on doing the wrestling ones.
I wouldn't ever know what you're on about. Doing more wrestling shows.
Yeah, because years ago I put a picture on Facebook, which is that was my wrestling game collection at the time, and trust me, it's expanded even bigger now. I think I have almost everything from PlayStation era onwards.
I was gonna say I've got all the PS2 stuff still, but PS3 and modern ones, I've basically sort of got to the point where I get rid of the oldest one and just get the newest one. But I've fallen out of 2K.
Oh yeah,
I
don't like them. I honestly don't like them.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not big. It's not clever, and we just don't need it. But what we do need
more Anthrax.
Is more Anthrax. So yes, we are closing the show with a couple of covers, and as I said, the quintessential rap metal song. So as with the covers, we are starting them with their version of the classic Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, which both these covers are Belladonna singing, and this is a really good slight change up of a classic for a band to make it their own with this version of Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. And if anything, they've made it nastier.
That's a good way of phrasing it, I think. Yeah,
because it's just dirtier and more. It's down tuned, and it's just more nasty than what Sabbath's evil was. Sabbath was evil. This is nasty.
Yeah, it's not the easiest thing to do when your originator is Sabbath.
Then we're going to Australia for some TNT.
Oh yes.
Which, why was I not surprised that you were going to go with I need something off the new covers album?
because that thing lived on repeat ever since I bought it. And I was genuinely really impressed with the covers. It's something that I don't think people talk about Anthrax a lot. They are one of those bands that do covers and do them really well.
So I know when you were on, when we did the cover show, you obviously had their version of Kansas on, which is one of those of that's one of the songs of, well, you think you know it, but did you know you can metal it up?
Yes.
You know, it's the one thing I will give Anthrax. When they do covers, they do make them their own.
I even like their version of Frigging in the Rigging, which is something.
It is always fun. And closing today with the one song that I always hope to see live. Just, that hopefully that, one of those music big old cases at the back gets wheeled to the front, and out pops Flavor Flay with a giant clock around his neck to shout, "Yeah, boy!"
I mean, this song is still quite now. Those 3 simple words: bring the noise. Oh, you know you're in for a good time.
It's one of those of, as white boys as we are, I can do all of Chuck D's rap to this song. And it makes me feel good that I can rap along with the best. It is thanks to this that I did get into Public Enemy. I really fucking like Public Enemy. I do like hip hop and rap and stuff, but it has to either mean something, have a purpose, or try and say something, not just bitches, pimps, and hoes.
Which is unfortunately what most of it ended up being, which is really irritating.
I'm all for Snoop Dogg every so often singing about gin and juice, and
Snoop Dogg is a special case, though. Snoop Dogg is Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, being a pimp, but when you got all that shit that sort of came in the 2000s, where it's just songs about pimping and being on a boat, yeah, not for me. But this is basically what Limp Bizkit wish they were.
No, Limp Bizkit wish they were Faith No More sometimes.
Yeah, well, there's that bit as well. But this was the song that meant that it was okay for 2 complete opposite worlds to join together. And thanks to this song, we got one of my favorite film soundtracks, Judgment Night.
Yep.
Because if this hadn't have worked, you wouldn't have got what we got there with Judgment Night, when fucking Slayer and Ice Cube are together. And that sort of whole thing came from this, and I can't think of a better song to close it up, because it is, again, it's another one of those, it's so quintessentially Anthrax, but of all of Anthrax's stuff and all the banging classics and partiness and happiness that they bring with everything else, if you were to ask a average person that has an interest in metal, name an Anthrax song, this is the one that most people will go to.
Oh, yeah. Everyone knows this. This is fucking excellent. There's no other words for it. It's fucking excellent.
It's true. So, thank you very much, Neil, for joining us. You will be back in the new year with a playlist of your choice.
I think I'll go to my odd shit this time.
Ooh, we like odd shit. Because as we say around here, there's good music and shit music. Good music can come from anywhere.
And you'll also get to hear me mispronounce and butcher names, especially of maybe a certain, shall we say, Viking metal band that I always mispronounce the name of.
Well, that narrows it down to a few. Would that be a Manamarth?
That would be it.
Oh, I do love Vikings and power metal and flames and songs about Odin.
Yes, I tell you what, I only came across them either last year, year before, and it's been a long time since I fell for a band hard, and boy, did I fall for that band hard.
Though, if one of the bands I have played on here, I fucking love them. They were one of those bands that I was at. I think it was Download. It was one of the early downloads, and I was walking past the third stage tent, and they had a load of guys in full fucking Viking battle armor fighting on stage as they were playing, and I was like, I'm intrigued. I'll go in and see what's going on. Watched 2 songs and went, write that down. Went to HMV when I got back from that and bought their album and have been in love with them since.
Yeah, it was one of those where I think it was mentioned, or I can't remember if it was Total Biscuit or someone mentioned it on their podcast. It was like, all right, YouTube it. I'll look up. Yeah, I'll watch one video. 2 hours later, it's like, I like this band.
And they are very fun.
They are.
So, we will have you back in the new year, Neil. Obviously, I will speak to you soon before Christmas, but have a good one and a wonderful new year, and we will see you with your weird and wonderful choices then. We are closing, as I said today, with Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, TNT, and Bring the Noise. And until next time, goodbye.